Hi, hello, welcome to the world of zoology. Myself, Dr. Sai from Zoology Wala. Today I am going to explain you about Silom, only Silom. Okay, what is Silom? A very important event in the history of evolution, my dear friends, without which no free movement of body parts is possible. You know, imagine there is no empty space in the body cavity. If there is no empty space in the body cavity, how the organs will move, how the digested food material will be absorbed into the body cavity, and how the eggs will be stored, how the gametes will be stored, and how the excretory material will be stored. So for all these events in the animals to take place, empty space is required. Coelom is nothing but the body cavity, empty space present between the body wall and the internal body parts. So coelom is nothing but the space present between imagine this is the transverse section of an animal. Generally, in case of coelom, we will see the circles. Why? Because they are nothing but the transverse sections. Imagine this is the transverse section of an animal, and this is an outermost layer body wall, and these are nothing but the visceral organs. So the space present between body wall and internal organs is called coelom. And here the point is whether that coelom should be considered as a true or false, that is the point. What is the difference between true coelom and false coelom? I will tell. Before going to see that difference, let me introduce you the first type of coelom called acoelomate condition. Acoelomata, A means absent, coelom means body cavity, eta means having. So there is no empty space in the body cavity. Those animals are called acoelomates. There is no empty space. I mean to say there is no available space in the body cavity, and that available space is completely occupied by different types of cells like this. So there will be definitely a mesoderm also in the animal. See, this is ectoderm and this one is mesoderm, this one is an endoderm, and this is an empty space. This is nothing but the lumen, empty space. So there is no available space inside the body cavity. Whenever, see, imagine this is ectoderm and this hand has an endoderm, middle one is mesoderm. Here the space is present, but that space is completely occupied by cells in the body. That is the reason why we are going to call this as an acoelomate. This is seen in platyhelminthes, Helminthes, platyhelminthes. So solid, the body plane inside the body plane, the space inside the body is not observed. That is the reason why the solid body cavity is observed. Example, platyhelminthes. This is nothing but the first triploblastic animal in the history of animal kingdom. So three germ layers first time developed here in platyhelminthes. Outermost one ectoderm, middle mesoderm, inner endoderm. Let us move to the second category. I will show all the three types of coelom at once. See now. This is an see here there are three types of coeloms are observed. This is the coelom just now what we discussed, and this one, this is the first type of coelom. Just now I discussed this, and this is called, this is acoelomate condition. Acoelomate. Don't separate A coelom. It is acoelom. A means absent, coelom absent. This is the first one. Second one, this is pseudocoelom. The second type of coelom is pseudocoelomata. Pseudo means false, coelom means coelom, body cavity, eta means having. So there is no empty space inside the body in case of acoelomates. There is no true empty space in case of pseudocoelomates. What do you mean by this true? If I am calling this as the false coelom, definitely another one will become true, isn't it? So there is a chance of having this one as a true. Yes, definitely this is true and this is false. What is the difference between true coelom and false coelom? What is the difference? If the body cavity is covered by, let me write the definition of the true coelom, not pseudocoelom. If body cavity, if the body cavity is covered by mesodermal layer, if the body cavity is covered by mesoderm on all sides of it, on all sides of the body cavity, we are going to call this as true coelom, isn't it? and that coelom also should be continuous. The coelom should be continuous, that is very important. So there should be a continuous empty space in the body cavity, and it should be covered by mesoderm on either sides of it. I mean to say, imagine this is my hand as an empty space. So here mesoderm should be there, here also mesoderm should be there. You may ask, sir, only one mesoderm will be there in the body, then how mesoderm will be present on this side and this side? Yes, there is a chance, I will tell. But you have to use the word peritoneum for that word. What do you mean by peritoneum, and how the mesoderm is present on this side and also on this side? I will explain. But in the second image, you just see the second image. So this one, you can consider this as an ectoderm and consider this as endoderm. Okay, and now the mesodermal cells, I want to represent which color I will take. I will take this one. Let us see. So outer layer, see this is nothing but ectoderm, isn't it? This is ectoderm, and imagine this one as endoderm. So ectoderm, endoderm, two layers are present, and now what happens, this mesoderm, this here you can observe the mesodermal cells. All these are the mesodermal cells. These are all the mesodermal cells. So here the mesodermal cells, these are all mesodermal cells. These are all mesodermal cells. Mesodermal cells. The mesodermal cells just moved a bit away from the endoderm. See this. Here you can see the empty space, but that empty space is the space formed because of movement of the mesodermal cells away from the endoderm. So you can see only black layer here, that is nothing but endoderm. Here mesodermal cells are present. So outside here mesoderm cells are present, but here there is no mesodermal layer. There is no mesodermal layer. If you make a section of this, outer layer, inner layer, some empty spaces. Outer layer, inner layer, some empty spaces. Say this one, outermost layer is ectoderm, inner thick layer is nothing but endoderm, and the spaces, the mesodermal spaces, the mesodermal sacs, the pouches, the mesodermal sacs or mesodermal pouches are nothing but the pseudocoelomates. Why I am going to call this as a pseudocoelom? Why? Because see here, first condition, body cavity should be covered by mesoderm on all sides. Where is mesoderm on the inner side? There is no mesoderm on inner side. So I am not going to call this as the true coelom. First one. Second one, the coelom is not continuous. See this one. Coelom is in the form of pouches. Coelom is in the form of pouches. It is not in the form of continuous layer. That is the reason why I am going to call this as the false coelom. Where you will find this? Where you will find this? This is seen in ACOELOM. This is seen in ACOELOM. My dear friends, just remember one thing. This is an outermost layer, ectoderm, and this is endoderm. Mesoderm is present in the form of pouches like this, like this. So outer one circle, inner one circle. Outer one tube, inner another tube. Tube within a tube type of organization. This is seen in pseudocoelomates. This is not considered as true coelom. Let me explain you the last one. This one. First one is the last one in this image. This is true coelom. Wow, what a great coelom. Why this is called true coelom? Why? Because here the body cavity is covered by mesoderm both on outer side as well as inner side. Let me show you one excellent image, this one. See, in this image, this is ACOELOM, where the empty space, see this one, outermost layer is ectoderm, innermost layer is endoderm, and here mesodermal cells are present. No empty space. And the coelom here in the form of pouches, you can see that. So coelom is present in the form of pouches. So this is pseudocoelom. Let us come to this one, EUCOELOM. EUCOELOM means true coelom. Let me put the heading. Let me put the heading here. Wow. Just one second. In order to explain the EUCOELOM. EUCOELOM, which is nothing but true coelom. This is of two types. The first one is schizocoelom and second one is enterocoelom. So this one entero and this one is schizo. First one is acoelom, second one is pseudo, and this is EUCOELOM. U means true, coelom means body cavity, true body cavity. Say this is an outermost layer ectoderm and this is endoderm. Previously I have shown you that endoderm shows invagination like that, and now these are the mesodermal cells, you know, ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, everything formed because of cell division only. So here, because of the cell division, number of mesodermal cells formed here. So you can see one mesodermal block here, one mesodermal block here. So two mesodermal blocks are seen on either side of archenteron. Arche, see, arche means beginning, enteron means intestine, arche, A-R-C-H-E, enteron means intestine, first part of intestine. So in future intestine is also going to form from this one only. So on either side of intestine, two mesodermal blocks are seen. Imagine this is one mesodermal block and this is another mesodermal block. Two mesodermal blocks are seen. And now what happens is a small split forms in one block like this, isn't it? So previously there is no space here, but now see here, see here, see here, see here, see here, isn't it? So a split appears in this mesodermal block like this. You can see the split in the mesodermal block also, and the split gradually increases in size. And now this is the true space. This is the body cavity. Why? Because this body cavity is covered by the mesodermal block. See, imagine this is the mesodermal block now, and the split formed like this, like this, like this. So now imagine the place where this marker is present, that is the true coelom. And now above the marker my hand is present, below the marker also my hand is present. So now these two layers will become the true layers. Why? Because that space is covered by mesoderm. We are going to call that space as a true coelom. Why? Because it is covered by mesoderm both externally as well as internally also. Both externally as well as internally also. And here you can see mesenteries also. See, this one is mesentery. This is the strand of connective tissue, isn't it? So the strand of connective tissue which helps in holding the organs, that is very much important. For example, if at all we are bending, you know, alimentary canal is not coming out, and whenever we are sitting, you know, the kidneys are not coming down. Whenever we are closing eyes, the eyes are not moving back because of mesenteries. Each and every organ is located in its place. Here also mesenteries are present. On either side of mesentery you can see a complete body cavity. A complete body cavity, that is schizocoelom. So coelom, which is formed because of splitting of mesodermal blocks. Schizo or schizo means splitting. Okay, and this body cavity is seen in the history of animal kingdom in Annelida, Arthropoda and Mollusca. In these three groups it is present. And the second type of the coelom, this is the first type which comes under eucoelom or true coelom, and second one is enterocoelom, E-N-T-R-O-C-O-E-L-O-M, enterocoelom. Entero means intestine, coelom means body cavity. So enterocoelomata or enterocoelom, schizocoelomata contains schizocoelom, schizocoelomates contain schizocoelom, enterocoelomates contain enterocoelom. The coelom, body cavity, eta means having, the body cavity having animals. Here in this group, the body cavity is formed from intestine. See this one, this is archenteron, and now outpouchings will develop. Say for example, this is ectoderm, and this one has an endoderm. And now let me change the color. Here what happens, you know, see this one, this is the pouch. Outpouchings of archenteron. So from the archenteron, one pouch will develop like this, another pouch will develop like this, isn't it? These are outpouchings of archenteron, and this is the space. This is the first space present in the body cavity. This is primary body cavity. The first space which is already present in the body cavity is primary body cavity or blastocele. And this is the space which is developed secondarily. This is the first space which is already present, and this is the new space which is going to develop in the body. And now what happens, you know, the space gradually increases. As the second space is increasing, first space decreases. It's a common sense point. As the first space is decreasing, why the first space is decreasing? Because the new space is increasing. As the second space secondarily developed body cavity. That is the reason why the coelom is also called secondary body cavity. The body cavity which is developed secondarily in the history of animal kingdom or in the animals. So secondary body cavity increases and primary body cavity decreases. This is the space which is formed from the intestine. That is the reason why it is called enterocoelomata. You can see the red color pouches here, and the pouches gradually increased. So final output will become same like the previous one. So the final output will be, say this, of course mesenteries will develop, mesentery in order to hold the visceral organs. So final output will be same. Here also ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, here also ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. In between the mesoderms space is present, here also in between mesoderm space is present. But previously that space is developed because of splitting of mesoderm, but now that space is formed because of outpouchings of archenteron. That is the reason why this is called enterocoelom, where it is present. Example, enterocoelomate condition is seen in Echinodermata to chordata. So so in so many characters echinoderms are closely relatives, close resemblance. In so many chordates echinoderms shows close resemblance to chordates. Okay, so echinodermata and chordata, in these two are from echinoderm to chordates. Enterocoelomate condition is present in the history of animal kingdom. So the coelom, what is the significance of coelom? The empty space inside the body cavity is useful for storage of the food material and storage of gametes in case of some animals and storage of excretory materials in case of some animals. Very important event if number of layers will develop. See this one, ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. Outermost one ectoderm and innermost one endoderm. In between them mesoderm is present. Just let me tell you one thing. See this one as an ectoderm and this as an endoderm. And now mesoderm, imagine 2 layers. Mesoderm undergoes splitting. Now I will take another color just to have some idea. Say this one, imagine this is the mesodermal layer, and similarly here also mesodermal layer is developed. In between these layers, you can see here, in between the ectoderm and the mesoderm, here muscles will develop. Similarly, in between the endoderm and mesoderm also muscles will develop. So more number of layers are present, so as a result of which what happens? Muscles, there is a chance of having a muscular development also because of communication between these layers. Because of having the communication between ectoderm and mesoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, muscles will develop. Imagine, my dear friends, my 2 hands are nothing but the mesodermal layers. These 2 mesodermal layers should be called as peritonia. This is a mesodermal layer which is close to ectoderm. This is a mesodermal layer close to endoderm. Total how many layers are present? 4 layers are present. Outermost one above the hand ectoderm, below this hand mesoderm, these 2 below this hand endoderm, and these 2 layers are nothing but mesoderms. So in between these mesoderms true space is present. So now ectoderm, this is mesodermal layer, and now this is another mesodermal layer, here endoderm. Total 4 layers are present in the body. So there is a chance of having the development of, let me show you one thing before going to close it. I want to show you one important element here. For example, say this one, imagine this is an outermost layer ectoderm and this as an endoderm, and now I will show you the mesoderm. See this layer, just a dotted layer, this one, this is mesoderm, and of course this is also a mesoderm because it is formed by the splitting. I made a section, transfer section, so it appears like this. Now my point is, what are these layers? Outermost one is ectoderm, innermost one is endoderm, no need to mention again. But here what I want to tell is, this outermost layer, just below the outermost layer, this layer is present. This is called somatic peritoneum, Peritoneum, somatic peritoneum, which is also called parietal peritoneum. Parietal or somatic, soma means body, below the body wall. there is a peritoneum. Chromosome, ribosome, lysosome, so means body. And here also there is a mesodermal layer, isn't it? This is called splanchnic, S-P-L-A-N-C-H-N-I-C, splanchnic peritoneum or visceral peritoneum. Why? Because this peritoneum is surrounding visceral organs, so this is called visceral peritoneum. So somatic peritoneum, visceral peritoneum, and outermost one is ectoderm, innermost one is endoderm. My dear friends, I am going to close this session with just one point. See here, in between the ectoderm and parietal peritoneum, here muscles will develop, and in between endoderm and this visceral peritoneum also muscles will develop. In previous cases, in acoelomates or pseudocoelomates, these highly developed layers are not there. That is the reason. See this layer, this peritoneum is not there in previous cases, in previous acoelomate or pseudocoelom. So food materials will come out so easily if this layer is not there. Imagine if this layer is not there, food material will come out so easily. Diffusion of food materials will become easy. But now layer developed, muscles also developed. So diffusion of food materials, transportation of food materials will become difficult. To compensate this, circulatory system developed in the animals. Circulatory system is developed in order to distribute food materials to different parts of the body. Diffusion is not possible because muscular layers are highly developed here because of closeness of the muscle layers, and one layer induced the other layer. Of course, this is called induction, of course, which is not that much required for you, but muscular layers developed in case of eucoelomates, and of course also in schizocoelomates, but not in case of pseudocoelomates and acoelomates because of having no peritoneal layers in case of acoelomates and pseudocoelomates. That's all about the coelom, my dear friends, and in the next session I will explain the different types of symmetry. Thank you.